You can kill Johnson, but you can't kill me. Great work coming through. And that leaves the newcomers back into the stream. It's Musty and Dorian for lower semis, a chance to fight Mott's and Brian Yee. For either of these teams, depending on who takes it, this should be a very close set, I would argue. I think Otto and Johnson, a little bit misleading here, the fact that they do 3-0 that one. It comes down to, first game isn't real. The second game, more so real, but very difficult still. I think for Ares on the Raven, who just cannot get close to anything, because you see as soon as they swap to Wonder Woman, they got the chance to actually fight out of range. Things look a lot better for them. So I think that was a closer set if you watched it than if you just read it on the bracket. So still, that shouldn't be an indication of like, well, it was a 3-2, it was a 3-0. So obviously Musty's getting rolled. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, MustyNobody and Dorian, look, they're the 3-2 GOATs. If they make it to last game in a set, they're going to win it. And that's all I'm going to say. Like, don't let them get to game number 5. They will clutch up on you.
Don't let them see game number 5. That's a great way to put it. In terms of matchups, though, looking at Musty and Dorian, what are we thinking?
I think that Jake and Black Adam as a team actually are pretty good into Garnet and Stripe, right? Like, against bigger bodies, I think is where Black Adam is really good. It's harder to dodge things like Chain Lightning, his follow-ups. It's easier to win neutral and kind of get these hit pause extensions that we see in twos a lot of the time on his aerials. And like on Black Adam, he has so much kill power that honestly, like he doesn't really struggle in the same way to kill some of these heavier characters as a lot of the other cast members do.
Sure. I mean, projectile option going to be good for them as well. We'll see. We'll start to work into it. I think it's going to be difficult for Stripe to get anything going off Buzzsaw. I also think that Dorian and Musty pretty adamant about playing under bubble as well, which is just going to make it that much more difficult for the Stripe to really get activated. So the choice is, do they rush down bubble? How do they deal with not being able to punch in Buzzsaw? That'll be the question. We'll see, though, as we jump into it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, starting in game number 1, we see what we kind of expect, right?
Yep.
Garnet setting up Sing, Black Adam kind of using this more defensive bubble, but MustyNobody already in a bad spot manages to kind of get out of it, and now they've kind of done a little bit of a reversal.
Oh, that's gross.
Onto Otto, and then they get him killed. I mean, he was dead at 50 there. That's such a good start for that team.
But you gotta remember though, last time we saw them on stream, they had these early confirms, and then somehow, some way, it got close towards the end of every game. So another very early lead. That one's coming off the top. Double buy, looking for that clap, and this might not be the same case.
Oh my gosh, it's been 40 seconds.
It's over. It's all over within a minute. Lower semis game 1 is dusted. The blue team take it to them early.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Like, okay, so the Jake Nair kills off the kills at 10%. You get a Jake Stair kill at 40, you get a Black Adam clap kill at 50, and then a kill off the top off of a ladder from like Black Adam Stair and a Jake up air at like 40 as well. Unbelievable. Like, that is crazy early kill percents across the board, leading to probably the fastest set of the tournament so far.
I really like this immediate early game adaptation you see. They pop bubble yet again. They know that they're going to rush it down. So Musty walks forward and punches instead to try to catch options early and start to immediately take neutral stage control. Rather than game 1 where you mentioned it looked dicey because they instantly got pushed back to the direction. So they control neutral right now already. They've already got them off stage yet again. Nothing off the punch just yet. Not able to convert. They got a very low Garnet in trouble. Does dodge the punch though, so Johnson will stay alive.
Yeah, all right, like we've seen it time and time again where they're in this spot that they're in right now where they're both just kind of waiting above ledge for them. Musty SDs again. They're up like a full stock. It's fine. I don't know what's going on, but doesn't really matter. They're still in a really good spot here, right? It's a lot less good than it was before, and now you already see Musty actually already at 70%. This team combo has been unreal on the side of Otto and Johnson. That SC might actually come into play here. But again, here you're just going to want to see Dorian live for as long as possible. The saw actually saving, but the clap kill is enough. And now they're in a bad spot. I mean, you got to get a lot of percent on both these players, and they only have to get percent on one of you.
Right. You'll see them look to stall out here. They're going to play a little bit more segmented. The Black Adam trying to bring down into that upcharge for the Jake. Wasn't quite there. He rushed Bubble, though. That might be a mistake. Otto going to go very low here. Still alive, though, at 130. And Johnson will start to put work into the Black Adam. Catches him on the recall, and that's going to turn the game back to the direction. They're both so low percentage, and Otto stuck on 130.
Yeah, that's the second time that we've seen a really early kill on Dorian against the side of Garnet. BigJhonson getting caught out 2 games in a row against them. All right, I mean, that's pretty confident, right? That's a confident 2-0 for them. Musty had an SD, and they still won in a pretty convincing fashion.
Oh, man, they're in the deep fryer right now.
Yeah.
They're absolutely in the deep fryer. Johnson and Otto, what can you find here in game 3? The first game, unbelievably confident for this blue side. Game 2, much closer. Much closer. Realistically, Johnson just gets caught by the clap, right? Pretty low percentage was that 50-60 that he dies. So that's a mistake you can kind of chalk up to being one. So that means game 2 was much closer, but still confidence, where is it at? Looking at game 3 now.
I think, honestly, that second game, like with that SD and with their incredible team combo on Musty, it was super winnable until BigJhonson got knocked out early. Yeah. Once that happened, the momentum was all in Dorian and Musty's favor, right?
Yeah.
All right. So going to game number 2, they just can't die early. They keep on bleeding stocks at low percent.
Slower they're playing this early game. Really waiting for that opening.
They're doing a really good job of like mixing up how they start games. But honestly, these openings from Malignant Otto are just so good. Oftentimes he's getting like 60-70% in one interaction. But is it enough to really kind of make these back?
This is an awkward heavy fight.
Black Adam is alive?
Yeah, Dorian literally in the blast zone low, manages to live, and they've turned this back around again, looking for Otto too. Luckily, the Garnets respawned in time. Otto can't get the gunshots off because he's getting fought. Does manage to take Dorian, though, so he got something.
Great save on Dorian's side. Even though he was the higher percent, like, it's really good having Musty being the one to be alive at the end. Right? Like, we've seen Musty. He's the better song take out of the 2, able to just kind of hold on to life for longer. So Dorian kind of taking some of these bullets and taking some of these hits for him is really good. He will end up dying to the stripe gunshot without really getting too much out of it, but it's the thought that counts.
Otto high percent there is going to explode.
Oh, that's
Dorian not able to dodge it either. Chance to find the tether here, not quite able to do so. This is looking really good for Red Team right now, especially if Otto continues to live. Of course, that's right when he would die, though. So kind of back the other direction. Dorian high percentage as well.
Yeah. Again, it's all about how long can Musty live. Can Musty live, or does Otto outlive him, you know? That's really what it comes down to. Johnson, he's going to end up taking probably a lot of damage, just kind of by the fact that he's playing Garnet. And oh my gosh, MustyNobody almost gets a crazy early kill onto Otto, but doesn't end up managing to do it.
How is he alive, bro?
Yeah, 170 kill percent. Finally. Okay, there we are. And Jake at 108%. They really need to get some early kills here. And I mean, this is the perfect spot to do it. Off stage, they're both they're in such a dangerous spot. They really need to set up these into these post edge guarding positions. Otto at 80% already. MustyNobody at 120 himself.
Oh, he's looking around here.
Yeah, they could honestly pivot into either kill here. Otto going off stage gets tipper dared, but it sends him on stage instead of off stage.
Yeah, that was huge. The fact that they let Otto back on stage for free really shifts that one back to the direction. It's scrappy, it's tough, but BigJhonson and Otto managed to find themselves a game here. They're still alive.
Yeah, the hit pause extension from that Sair, Musty tried punishing Garnet for hitting Black Adam, but the Sair was so active that it actually got him killed instead. But yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt for Musty to really play his life as long as he could, but you kind of have to go for something in that percent. Malignant Otto's on stage, and you either have to kill the Garnet or get past the Garnet and kill Malignant Otto there. So they were trying to make a play happen, and it just didn't end up working out. But as we go into game number 4, I mean, it's anyone's game. There's so much adaptation on both sides. Again, we see Musty mixing up his start again. He actually uses the house to reflect the Garnet Gauntlet at the start and hit it back into Johnson. But again, Malignant Otto getting a really good opening combo onto Musty.
This is the first time I think the red team has really looked ahead at the start of a game. As I say that, though, Otto struggling against the Jake down low. Does manage to find it, though. Confident, and then the gunshots to finish it off. So that is going to be a red team with a lead here to start.
Yeah, and that lead is only going to get extended. Dorian is already at 120%. BigJhonson only at 60 himself.
Oh, big if you can find gunshots here. Doesn't pull it out, but nonetheless, the red team in neutral looking confident. BigJhonson going to throw one off. It's Otto trying to get the chainsaw into Musty. Couldn't quite convert.
Yeah, the Sereners from last patch on Black Adam are really coming into play here. That Stripe, or I think it was either the Stripe or the Garnet, one of them lived a Sare that probably would have ended up killing last patch, but that lower reduction in kill power is so important. Because it means that things like these juggles that they're trying to go for just don't kill as early as it used to. Alright.
Dorian stuck in burnout, does manage to just confidently walk forward and dash attack. Helps as his teammate has that one locked in. It's 160 for Johnson, not caught by Dorian though, so he is going to stay alive. He needs every bit of this stock that he can find and doing a good job of keeping it active.
Yeah, BigJhonson alive at 170 in burnout. You really need to be getting these kills early. But reads the jump, goes for that up special and kills Musty at around 100%. I mean, they're in such a bad spot here, blue team, and they really need to kill Johnson in order for this to even be close. But it kind of looks like their control of the match is slipping. They just can't pin down Johnson.
And Johnson's doing a good job of using this jab combo to push backwards towards his teammate, so Otto's able to convert chainsaw and get extra percentage up. They look really good right now. It's a hard one to lose. Both players high in a bite to finish it off the top. It's 2-2. Johnson and Otto have figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, really well played by them. That was a pretty confident game number 4 after honestly a super close set so far. That's been like the first, or the second, I guess, really convincing game, right? Like you had that 40-second game from earlier, and in this game we're both just not very close, but the other two have been so scrappy. So it's another game number 5 on the docket, and I trust Musty and Dorian in the game number 5, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, every set it feels like for them has gone to 3 or it's gone to 5, and they have not lost it. They're so good in the clutch. Can they get it done again?
Yeah, already a slower start, but that Dynamite getting so much value, right? Every time it feels like they just don't really end up playing around Dynamite as much as they probably should. And like, again, we see it there where they're taking so much damage off of it. Black Adam already at 70, 80, 90% this early in the game, and they just can't really deal with BigJhonson and Otto playing a little bit more passive than they're used to. I mean, blue team trying to get anything going, and they just can't. Yeah,
that's tough. That was a really good ledge guard setup for them as well. They just couldn't quite convert. I mean, it's really coming down to these projectiles. Otto's been doing a good job of using Buzzsaw to get back. Gauntlet from Johnson to get back. They're really disrupting what is this very powerful ledge guard. As we've seen from them. They're going to take 2 stocks early, and they're pretty low percentage themselves. The Garnet can live for a bit, is going to chalk up to 100 here. We know Otto has pushed 130, 150 in this series already. They've got room to work with still.
Yeah. And I mean, BigJhonson's just playing so well. Living to 170 last game, got the second kill this game with a cross-stage gauntlet like we see now. Just playing so well this game in this set so far to make this as close as it is.
They're still alive.
Yeah,
Both
they just can't.
Still alive. They've pushed these guys so deep off of ledge too. You can see how nervous this blue team is. They finally bait one in, they get one, but it's now BigJhonson back with Grey Health and a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah, it's just such a bad spot to be in. They just cannot get these kills. Malignant is alive at 170.
Oh, man.
And MustyNobody is dead again at 100. Like, you can't be playing in these super passive spots and just letting your opponents kind of dictate the pace of the game as they're doing now. You have to be able to get these aggressive positions. Because that's when, like, when Musty and Dorian are doing well, it's because they have these edge guard scenarios where they're pressuring their opponents. But it's just not happening in the last 2 games. Malignant Otto is at 214%, finally ends up dying to a Black Adam collab, and they need these early kills.
Ooh, Dorian's so high percentage here. Taking trades, which you cannot do at this percentage. At 150, he's going to float for a bit. That leaves Musty into trouble, though. It's a 2v1. Trying to get figured out for the Jake. Does manage to convert on the upcharge. Going to send Malignant over. They've got the clap. If they can follow this, they can do it. It's so tight, but it's a trade coming through for BigJhonson to save the day. They'll walk it all the way back, and they've got themselves an appearance in the lower final.
Yeah, that was that ended up being really tense, right? You saw the possibility, you saw the world in which they managed to get that ladder and make it and clutch out that game number 5. But BigJhonson just getting out of it confidently, up especially, and taking that game number 5. I mean, that was a super close set. That was a back and forth set with moments of extreme dominance for both teams. That was super, super amazing to watch on both sides.
Yeah, and shout outs, man, to Musty and Dorian. Their run will end here, but it's the farthest run they've seen so far in Frost. The farthest run for them, too, and it looks like any duos tournament. So fantastic stuff from this team. Cannot wait to see them in the next weeklies to come. Not their day to make a grand finals appearance, but such a far run. So many upsets for the squad, too, which is great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely causing chaos at every stage in the bracket, right? They beat they've made such a crazy run. They beat some really, really good teams in their run. Taking down Uzi, Greeted, Shiro, and Poro, and then taking Malignant Auto and BigJhonson to a game number 5.